This weekend, Donald Trump is giving voters a preview of what a second term in the White House would look like: more insults, attacks on democracy, and cozying up to dictators.
We have deranged Jack Smith. His wife and family despise me much more than he does, and he decides, I think he's about a 10. They're about a 15 on a scale of 10. President Xi is like central casting. There's nobody in Hollywood that can play the role of President Xi. The look, the strength, the voice. It's good to have a good relationship with Putin and Xi and all these people. They have lots of nuclear weapons. And Kim Jong-un I had a good relationship with. He's a tough, smart guy.
Joining us now to discuss is journalist and former Fox News host Geraldo Rivera. Geraldo,
hey,
great
Jeff.
To see you again. As always, thank you so much.
You too.
Trump said a lot of stuff this weekend, but one of the things I did want to ask you about is his continuing to go after the special counsel, Jack Smith. And this time around, I'm sure you saw this at that rally in New Hampshire, he went after the special counsel's family. What, if anything, can be done about that? Should the judge be looking at really going after Trump for these comments?
You know, it's the gag orders are tough, and right now I think they are suspended, basically, so he can say whatever he feels, he needs to say, however unfortunate. Jack Smith, though, Jim, doesn't seem to me to be particularly fragile. The guy reminds me, I look at him, I think of like Dracula coming after you. He's got Trump, it seems to me, by the privates in the couple of these cases, the documents case and the January 6th case. What is, I think, more unusual is when former President Trump goes after the family. Jack Smith's wife, I think her name is Katie Chevigny, a documentarian. She made an award-winning film about Michelle Obama. She also is a big donor, gave $2,000 to the Biden campaign. So he's got a beef in terms of the personal prejudice of the family. Going after families, though, generally speaking, has classically been thought of as rotten, as below the belt, as very unseemly and unnecessary.
Yeah, but what does the political
Donald
leanings
Trump,
of the family have to do
goes.
with? Yeah, no, and I hear you, but what does the political leanings of the family or wife, spouse of the special counsel have to do with anything? Have to do with the special counsel? And isn't there something dangerous, Geraldo, because you know this, you've known Donald Trump for a long time, and you saw what happened during his presidency. When he goes after people, it riles up his base, it riles up people out there who might be unstable and could pose a threat.
Well, I think that is always a grim possibility that some freak will go too far. But in terms of Trump being the triumph, the insult dog, I don't think that's particularly surprising. And I have to say, in fairness, just one thing that might mitigate. I remember as an attorney, when I got before a judge, someone who I knew was sympathetic to my way of life and my, knew him from played football or that or this. I was relieved when it was someone who's a hard ass, who's tough on defendants. I was always, I said, oh no, we've got a tough judge here. So I think in Trump's case, particularly the Alvin Bragg case, the Stormy Daniels case, and the money case, the
hush money case,
overvaluation of his properties cases. He's got very tough venues, and maybe it's inevitable given his flamboyant and probably in cases unlawful lifestyle. But it is, I understand what motivates him, and he has been very successful. Look what he did. I was thinking with some friends the other day about what he did with Hillary Clinton. How he managed to take this stellar candidate, senator, secretary of state, and so forth, and reduce her to lock her up and all these other pejoratives, and shrunk her basically. Yeah. He's very good at that. And going after Jack Smith, who scares him to death, is not surprising.
Right. I mean, but two different things, right? One is a political candidate. One is your rival for the presidency. The other is the special counsel. But I want to ask you about something else, Geraldo, and that is, over the weekend, we saw Trump offering a preview of the actions he would take if he becomes president again. A source telling CNN, this was also reported in the New York Times, Trump plans to round up undocumented immigrants living in the U.S. and place them in detention camps. He'd also re-implement his so-called Muslim ban use Title 42 to turn away asylum seekers, speed up mass deportations. Trump is also saying he'd indict his political opponents if he's reelected. What's your reaction when you hear this kind of stuff about what Trump would do in a second term?
Trump sees immigration, Jim, as his abortion, in the sense that this is something that he believes can appeal to his base and beyond. Biden's kindness has had a toxic impact. It has had exactly the opposite to the intended impact. It's been a welcome mat, and as a result, the southern border has been overrun and has given Trump and the Republicans an issue to run on.
But Geraldo, detention camps.
I believe that with
do you think he would do that? You think he's serious?
Dr. Evil in charge, I believe he is serious. I believe that in his mind, he sees a very simplistic answer to this problem, brutality. He will deport. He will hold as many as he can, deport as many as he can, as fast as he can. He'll undo the dreamers. He'll make the dreamers into nightmares. He will scare the bejesus out of potential immigrants, and I think it will have a positive impact on the southern border. However cruel he is, the more cruel he is, I think the lower illegal immigration will be. It is sad to say that. I hate that there is a cause and effect. But Trump's tough guy demeanor last time around, even threatening the president of Mexico with cutting off trade, and all the other draconian threats he made had a result to reduce undocumented immigration. He will be cruel. He doesn't care. And the sad thing is, it will appeal to his base in ways that I think will be very disappointing to those of us who want a pluralistic, inclusive society.
But Geraldo, is that smart politics for the former president? We've seen him do this before, demonize immigrants in a way that really alienates independent voters, female voters in swing districts, swing states, and so on. And as we're seeing polls showing Trump making inroads in the Latino community, this doesn't sound like very smart politics, I think, to a lot of folks.
I don't think the Latino community is monolithic. There are many in South Texas and Florida and so forth that have become, middle class and deplore the disorder. Now, I'm not speaking for myself. I am saying that I know for a fact that in New York, in Chicago, in many northern cities that have received busloads of undocumented immigrants, there is real bitterness toward the immigrants. They vagrant and on the sidewalks and disrupting lifestyles and so on and so forth. I am a big believer in immigration. I think the United States is stronger as a result of our immigrants. But I do believe that there is now some real disquiet. There is now some real unease about the anarchy that that unbridled immigration has brought. And I think Trump senses that. He's like a dog after red meat. He will take that issue. Putting Stephen Miller in charge is the signal. He's put Dr. Evil in charge of his immigration policy. You will see the camps. And the crackdown will be so draconian that it will ultimately, I believe, rebound against Trump and may work against him. But as of right now, he's smart to use it. He's scared to death about the abortion issue, but he's reveling in the fact that the rivals, the five rivals that he has left in the game, are not making a dent in his overwhelming lead, and his lead also over Joe Biden in the swing states, as you know, Jim.
Yeah. All right. Geraldo, I knew it would be a lively discussion. Great to see you as always. Thanks a lot.
My pleasure.